Security can show you out if you're going to make a scene. Elise Montgomery felt every eye in the gleaming showroom turned toward her. The whispers had already begun. Her hands trembled slightly, but she kept her chin high, refusing to give Richard Kellerman, the dealership manager whose contemptuous smile hadn't reached his eyes once during their interaction, the satisfaction of seeing her composure crack. "That won't be necessary," Elise replied, her voice steady despite the fire burning in her chest. "I know my way out." As she turned to leave, Richard called after her, loud enough to ensure everyone heard. "Maybe try the dealership down the street. They might have something in your price range." A wave of humiliation washed over her, hot and suffocating. The carefully researched specifications for the luxury sedan Shed planned to purchase today felt like lead weights in her designer handbag. The same handbag no one had bothered to notice, just as they hadn't noticed her subtle diamond earring, GS, or the platinum watch her husband had given her for their anniversary. All they had seen was a black woman in casual weekend clothes, and they had made their assumptions. As we dive into this story, tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you're against entitlement, injustice, and unfair treatment. Welcome to Mr. Black Stories. 3 hours earlier, Elise had kissed her husband Marcus goodbye in their penthouse kitchen. "Sure you don't want Timmy to come along?" he had asked, looking up from his morning coffee and the valuation reports from his latest tech venture. Elise had laughed. "I'm buying a car, not negotiating a merger. Besides, I've been researching these models for weeks. I know exactly what I want. That's my CFO," Marcus had said with pride, referring to her position at one of the country's largest financial institutions. "Call me when you're on your way home in your new ride." She had dressed comfortably, premium jeans, a simple blouse, her hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. It was Saturday, after all, the day she would finally replace her 5-year-old sedan with something special, something she had earned. The moment Shed stepped into Prestigious Motors, Shed sensed it. The subtle shift in attention, the evaluating glances, the sales associates who suddenly became deeply engaged with other tasks. She'd seen it before, the silent calculation of her worth based solely on appearance. Still, she had approached one of the display models with confidence. That's when Brad had appeared, suggesting she might be more comfortable in the pre-owned section next door. What followed was a masterclass in subtle discrimination. The invented pre-approval policy for test drives. The suggestion she come back with her husband. The manager's thinly veiled incredulity that she could afford their vehicles. Now, as she walked across the parking lot toward her car, her phone rang. "Marcus. Hey, how's the car shopping going?" His voice was bright with anticipation. Elise paused, considering whether to downplay what had happened. But their relationship had been built on honesty from day one. "Not great," she admitted, then recounted the entire humiliating experience. The silence on the other end told her everything about her husband's rising anger. "I'm coming to pick you up," he said finally, his voice controlled but cold. "And tomorrow, we're going back." "Marcus, it's OT worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Not for the car. For something much more important." The following morning, Richard Kellerman was reviewing the weekend numbers when the distinctive purr of a luxury engine caught his attention. Through the showroom windows, he watched as a Rolls-Royce Phantom, midnight black with custom chrome detailing, pulled into the most prominent parking spot. A uniformed driver stepped out and opened the rear door. A tall, distinguished black man in an impeccably tailored suit emerged, followed by yesterday's difficult customer, now dressed in a designer outfit that probably cost more than Brad's monthly salary. Richard's stomach dropped. He recognized Marcus Montgomery from the cover of last month's Business Insider. The power couple entered the showroom hand in hand, causing conversations to halt mid-sentence. Several sales associates rushed forward, but Marcus raised a hand to stop them. "I'm looking for Richard Kellerman," he announced. Said, his voice carrying across the suddenly silent showroom. Richard stepped forward, his face a mask of professional courtesy. Mr. Montgomery, what an honor. How can I help you today? Marcus smiled, but his eyes remained cold. You've already helped enough. Yesterday, you showed my wife exactly who you are and what this establishment stands for. We're not here to buy a car, Richard. We're here to make an announcement. My investment firm has just purchased the controlling interest in your parent company. As the new majority stakeholder, my first order of business will be a comprehensive review of hiring practices and customer service protocols across all dealerships. Richard's face drained of color. Starting with this location, Elise added, her voice level but firm. We believe luxury should be accessible to all who can afford it, without discrimination or assumptions. Marcus handed Richard a business card. My team will be in touch. I suggest you use the interim to reflect on yesterday's interaction and prepare a detailed explanation. As they turned to leave, Elise paused. Oh, and Richard? That S-Class I was interested in. Have it delivered to this address. She handed him a card with the details of a women's shelter her foundation supported. Consider it the first installment of your dealership's new community engagement program. They walked out as regally as they had entered, leaving Richard clutching the business cards and struggling to comprehend how thoroughly his world had just been upended. As they settled back into the Rolls-Royce, Marcus took Elise's hand. Was it worth the trip back? Elise smiled, thinking of the young women at the shelter who would benefit from the transportation. More than worth it. Sometimes justice looks like accountability, not revenge. The Rolls-Royce pulled away from prestigious motors, leaving behind a dealership forever changed, not by the car's luxury or the couple's wealth, but by the dignity with which they wielded both. The real victory isn't in proving others wrong. It's in creating spaces where everyone is treated with equal dignity from the start. When faced with discrimination, remember that your response can either end with personal vindication or begin a journey toward lasting change. What will you do with your influence, however great or small? The power to transform unfair systems exists in all of us. The question is, how will you use yours? Did this story move you? Don't miss out on more powerful narratives. Subscribe now for weekly stories that inspire and challenge.